Hi, my name is Morgan Aiken, and I'm pursuing a degree in instructional technology at Kennesaw State University. In this video, I'll introduce to you the rationale behind my capstone project, the objectives that I am seeking to meet, the Professional Standards Commission standards that I have focused on, and of course, how everything turned out. And I hope that you enjoy the video. My capstone experience was designed for foreign language classrooms in the high school setting, specifically in Jefferson, Georgia, at Jefferson High School where I currently teach. Jefferson's a small suburb about an hour outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Our mission statement at school is to graduate fully functioning adults, which is where I started to kind of begin thinking about what I wanted my capstone to be. And I believe that my focus on communication directly relates to our mission. And the stakeholders that were affected by this experience were teachers, students, and parents. This capstone experience seeks to answer the following questions. In what ways can language labs and blogging be used to affect communication skills at a high school level in a foreign language classroom? According to Perrin, in today's high schools, and since the 1970s really, many students leaving high school have very low reading and writing skills. Learning to communicate, whether in written or in verbal form, happens over time. It requires practice, dedication, and feedback to truly advance these skills. And honestly, many students lack the motivation to work on these communication and literacy skills because they already struggle with them. Literacy is complex, and it's a discipline that must be nurtured and targeted. Through interaction with technology, using these language labs and blogs, that's exactly what we're trying to work on in a non-threatening manner. As many high school students are already timid in their academic literacy skills, imagine walking into a foreign language classroom and being asked to do the same thing. However, I believe that there truly is power in using the foreign language environment to help support and encourage students advance their skills in English as well as their skills in Spanish. With the use of language labs, students can collaboratively create meaningful conversations and recordings in the target language. They can review, edit, and re-record to show improvement and advancement in their spoken language skills. By using language labs and blogging, my capstone has sought to improve the verbal and written communication skills to better support our students becoming fully functioning adults that we all hope they are as they leave our doors as high schoolers and go into the world to create something wonderful. Listed here, you'll see some of the objectives that I sought to address as I worked through my capstone. A couple of them that I want to highlight is the second one here, that's creating, editing, and sharing their writing and verbal pieces through the use of these technologies as a means of communicating and improving their skills of communication. Also, I thought it was important for teachers, as you see in that last bullet, to demonstrate their depth of knowledge and understanding the way technology can aid them in teaching by creating literacy-based assignments for their students. Along with the objectives, here are some deliverables that I wanted to be able to use to show progress and to show completion of my capstone. You'll see in a little bit the reading rubrics and the writing rubrics that I use throughout my capstone experience to gauge progress in my students' communication skills. There were many lesson plans created by myself and other teachers as we worked collaboratively to come up with those literacy-based assignments. And even conversations that students have recorded in the language lab show their improvement and their growth in their communication. Another piece of the capstone project was addressing ISTE standards as I went through the experience. The second bullet here that you see, I felt like I really got to know well, particularly the part about implementing technology-enhanced learning experiences. I definitely felt like the language lab's usage was an enhancement to my students practicing their communication skills. Being able to use the technology and the digital tools in the lab really gave them an intrinsic motivation to complete the work and to complete it enthusiastically. I also loved the way that they were able to use digital communication and collaboration tools, as you see in that third standard that's listed here. I felt like they were able to have, again, such enthusiasm to communicate with each other because they were using these tools. And finally, that last bullet, the part about having professional collaboration, being able to evaluate and reflect on our practices as teachers together was definitely able to strengthen my ability to effectively use that technology in my classroom. What you see here is a very abbreviated timeline of how the capstone experience played out for me. I worked within my own classroom to install and observe the use of technology labs and blogs, and additionally I worked with other foreign language teachers within the school to implement these as well, and even to begin use of the language lab and training them. Throughout the semester, students participated in blogging and language labs activities together as a class. Other teachers also joined the initiative. We studied the results from the common rubrics that we created from my classroom and from her classroom, the other Spanish teacher that worked with me. And we even created a professional development session for our French teacher, who was new this year. I was able to train him on the lab and then go in and actually watch him teach the course, have different assignments and experiences for his class, and then kind of debrief with him afterwards and hear how he enjoyed the process, what questions he still had, things like that. We track student progress with the written and oral rubrics, as I've already said, and you'll see that coming up in just a minute. And these are the same rubrics we use to gather our pre and post data on their reading and writing skills. So we use the same rubrics throughout the entire semester in order to remain consistent and have kind of a unified means of gauging their progress and their improvement. Okay, and now we have finally arrived at those rubrics that I've been talking about. Here is our evaluation plan. We use these rubrics throughout the entire semester, again, as I said, to have a common means of recording their progress. And we use the resulting scores for each student on their rubrics to reflect on the progress that they've made in both literacy and communication skills. And since we use the language lab as their primary tool for practice, we attributed a lot of their progress and their improvement to the use of the lab and its effectiveness. The rubric that you see here is the one that we used for their writing. And the rubric that we use for their oral speaking skills, instead of having things like punctuation and spelling, we would have pronunciation and enunciation. In completing this capstone experience, an important realization was having clearly defined goals and measuring tools. They're extremely important to the study of progress. They need to be standard and common throughout the whole experience in order to truly be able to gauge improvement and growth. Rubrics need to be specific enough to speak to the goal, but also broad enough to reveal results, even if the method of which gathering those results differs. For example, I wanted to use blogging to gauge student written fluency and progress, but I noticed that the blogging was not really fitting our student body and the needs that are at Jefferson High School. So I switched to another digital tool that we were already using, the language labs, and was able to use that for students to collaboratively work together on written pieces. I was able to use the same rubric for written fluency and use a different medium, which was the language labs. ISTE Standard 3F emphasizes the evaluation of digital tools that are compatible with the school. It was an important realization for me throughout this experience to pay closer attention to the specific climate and resources of the school when choosing a technology. To better writing was always the goal, but the shift in technology from blogs to language lab did not prohibit the study of writing improvement. As a technology facilitator and data collector through technology, the learning goal must always be what is gauged, regardless of the technology that is used to move the students toward the goal. Rubrics to gauge that improvement must revolve around the learning goal always. A technology leader must have the knowledge and skills to effectively link the use of technology to the learning objectives and goals within the classroom. They must be able to see a learning goal and create a plan that implements technology in a way that would effectively move students and schools closer to the goals that they dream of achieving. I believe that this capstone experience gave me a wonderful time in learning so much about how to see a problem, create a plan, and see how to gauge that progress. Thank you so much for your interest in my capstone project. I definitely enjoyed the experience and hope to continue using these digital tools in my classroom in the future. Listed on the next page are the resources that I have mentioned throughout this presentation. If you're interested in more information, you're welcome to visit those references, or you're also welcome to contact me. My email will also be on the next page. I hope that you've enjoyed my presentation and have a wonderful day.